I'd really like you to kind of get into your brand story and how you got started with the Big One cut bait.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we talked yesterday a little bit about it. So it's an interesting story. I started fishing the Great Lakes a while ago. Actually, coming to this show back in 2016 to the Salmon School. Pete Alex is one of the speakers. There was another Pete from Oswego that spoke there, and another gentleman from Michigan. And they started talking about the alewife and the alewife population within Lake Ontario. And I was, got my brain going, thinking of different bait to use, and the fact that alewife cut bait is currently not really available on the Great Lakes. So after that year, we started running alewife cut bait, and we were having a lot of success with it. We were, doing really well with the product, and then people started requesting to have it in, be more available in stores and stuff like that. And then so eventually we had to come out with a brand. And that year, unfortunately, my father passed away. His name was Gord. And we were trying to think of a brand to come out with on the bait. Originally, it was, around herring something. And then my dad passed away, and I was just searching Gordo online, and El Gordo. So when I searched El Gordo, it came up, and it's actually a term of endearment for in Latin, and it's the big one. And it's also a big lottery down south, and it's literally the big one. If you Google it, El Gordo, it's the big one. And so I reached out to my brother-in-law, who's a children's book artist, and I asked him if he can do me some type of logo. He's also a graphic designer. And I asked him if he can put me some type of logo together. And within 10 or 15 minutes, he literally sent us this logo right here.
Yeah.
This is a picture of my dad.
Yeah.
And the big one is Gordo, and it's my dad's name. So that's literally what it is.
Wow.
And it came. I didn't even. It was like perfect, done, and we rolled with it. So it all worked out. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. For the record, I believe that Gord is the most Canadian name.
Right. Gord Pizer is my hero.
That's Chris's hero. Is Gord Pizer,
my heroes.
The writer for
Ontario Outdoors.
Yeah. So that's Chris's hero. So but that's the most Canadian name of all time. I love it.
Yeah. So that's kind of how the brand started, and then we just kind of evolved from there. We started coming out with a few different products. So we have herring cut bait available now. We also have alewife cut bait available. We have these UV lights, which are cool. They help charge our baits, our products. Our products are the only ones that glow in the dark. So it's a all natural cut bait. They come in packs of 5. The herring does. The alewife comes in packs of 4. They're preserved in a way that they won't wash out, they won't spoil, they won't rot. And they can catch multiple fish, so it's really cool.
So these obviously don't need to be refrigerated.
They don't need to be refrigerated. We
Really?
suggest to keep them chilled and cold and in the freezer until you're ready to use them, just to maintain that freshness. But they will withstand temperatures. You can leave them, like if you have a tournament, for example,
Yeah.
and you're there for a week or 4 days. You don't need to worry about your cooler thawing out and the bait spoiling or rotting. So that's one of our major points of difference. People don't really believe it until they try it and see it. When they run it as well, like you can literally run this stuff for like 3-4 hours. It will not rot. It won't wash out. They call it washing out.
Yeah.
It won't wash out at all. The bait won't separate from the skin.
Wow.
It's really an interesting formula that we got going down, and it really worked. And that's why people were requesting it. Back in the day, this is back in 2017, 2016. And then, eventually we started cutting more herring just to meet the demands of the consumers. A lot of people really like using Pacific herring. It's great. It's a great product. We get this from the West Coast. It's very consistent. The meat is very durable as well, so you can take multiple fish with it. There's a lot of the scales are all intact for the most part. With some of the brining process,
it's really bright. I mean, even in the package, it's really bright.
Yeah, and then in 2019 we came out with glow in the dark. So that was kind of the thing that really kind of, I guess, helped the bait take off more around the Great Lakes, especially in Michigan. So we have glow in the dark in a variety of different colors available. So at the show we brought green, so a chartreuse green, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So these are our UV lights. We have them on our website. They come with a 3.7 volt lithium rechargeable battery.
Yep.
They come with a charger and also the light. So you basically you touch the the product with the light,
Dang.
and it glows in the dark.
And how long will that glow last? I mean, typically with a UV charge like that.
Yeah, at least like three hours.
Oh, wow.
There'll be a hue coming off it for about 3-4 hours, but yeah, that's, and we fish a lot of low light conditions with salmon fishing, early in the morning, even late at night, and so it makes a huge difference. Everyone
I gotta
knows
have one of
it.
these for ice fishing.
Yeah, ice
I'm gonna
fishing
come
too.
buy one of those for you.
Yeah,
Those things are, yeah, I mean, that's crazy bright where you can actually see it glowing, here. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's really cool.
So it's really cool. We're the only ones that are doing it in the world. We were the original doing this type of product with the glow in the dark. We were the original alewife cut bait as well. So we're really proud of that. And the colors are.
So you don't have to tell me this is if it's a trade secret, but where do you source your bait from? I mean, are you working with like commercial
So we're working
catchers, or how do you get your actual?
So our bait is sourced from the West Coast. So
Okay.
it's a Rise Davies herring is the herring that we use.
Okay.
It's commercially sourced. So what they do is they catch the fish in nets. They put them in different pens in the ocean. They starve them for like a couple weeks. So it takes all the stuff out of their stomachs. So their stomachs are nice and clean. So you want that when you're using when you're using it for bait, because the stomachs will turn soft if there's anything inside the stomach. After a certain amount of days, when the fish is thawed out, the stomach will start to rot and turn really soft. So
Interesting.
you want to get everything out of the stomach. So that's what they do on their side. They within the pen process, they then electroshock them so they die right away. There's no flopping around. So that helps retain the scales. Then they take it from that and they put them on, they flash freeze them flat. So they flash freeze them all individually. So that helps maintain the scale content and preserves makes the best quality of bait. So that's
Super cool.
Those are suppliers that we use.
And the alewife that comes from the Pacific as
alewife
well?
is actually on the East Coast.
On the East Coast.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as you know, alewife are an invasive species in the Great Lakes. You guys have talked a lot about it.
Yep.
That's that going to the salmon school, I learned about the alewife, how they came into the Great Lakes, how the alewife really are the reason why salmon are in the Great Lakes, to help control the population. So yeah, it's kind of
super cool.
Yeah.
So how much fishing did you do with it before you said it's time to bring this to the world?
Oh man, I was fishing with my father when I was a little kid, probably 6 years old. So 35 years. I've been fishing with my father, fishing the Great Lakes. I started fishing the Great Lakes more in the early 2000s. Fishing with my father, we were never really serious about it.
Mm-hmm.
I met a few people that were. So the Great Ontario Salmon Derby, the Silver Salmon Challenge, those derbies were around back then when I first started as well. And I would buy a ticket and I'd get out for a few days throughout the season. And then as it got into kind of mid, like 2010, 2012, I started going out on my own more. I bought my own boat, and I met a few other people that were serious salmon fishermen, and they are the ones who recommended to come down to this show and go to the salmon school. And from that, the bug, I took right off. I learned about your product. That was one of the other big things. The Fish Hawk was a huge game changer for me, and really understanding the temperature and how it plays a role, where the fish are, how to locate the fish, also the speed as well. And that was a huge thing for me. So yeah, I learned.
So you actually formed your company coming to the show. I mean, that was kind of like the start of it.
The evolution of it.
Yeah, I mean that's really cool. I mean, that's like,
and it's like grassroots. Like this is
exactly
grassroots of like how these things evolve. And if you come to this show, you see all the different vendors here. There's a whole bunch of different custom tackle manufacturers, a whole bunch of different small independent businesses here. It's a really cool thing to see. Unique products that you can't really find in big box stores. So that's why shows like this are so important for our industry and for growing the knowledge, I guess, and helping people catch more fish. Like that's what I think, anyways. And that's really the goal, and that's what we're trying to do on the Canadian side. Shout out to Canada.
Yeah.
We're really trying to get the tournaments going and trying to get more people involved, and it's really cool. Some of the stuff that's going on up there.
So how big a crew do you have helping you ship and all that kind of stuff?
Man, so my mom's here. She's been with me since day one, helping me out. So she helps me cut. She helps me at some of these shows. This is actually the first time being at this specific show. but she comes. She helps me label the packaging. My uncles help. It's literally like a family thing. My cousin helps cut and trim. And then we also have some other employees that help us with the filleting process. All hand cut. That's the other thing I didn't mention. It's all hand filleted.
Now, do you guys do that here, or is that in other
We all
places?
do. Yes.
You do the cutting and everything
Yes.
here. Okay, yourselves. Wow.
Yeah, we do it all. We do.
You get bulk bait and then you cut the fillets.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's pretty
we
neat.
process it, we treat it, we trim it into this specific shape. So this shape, actually, I should have brought a bait head, but this shape was designed so they're consistent across the board. Every piece is the exact same taper and shape, and this taper we designed to help to ensure that the bait head that you're using is imparting the action on the bait. You don't want the bait to sag or drag. You want the bait to roll. And if you come by the booth, we have a video looping of the roll that you want to see when you're running the bait. And the way we designed our products is to fit like perfectly within all the bait manufacturers' meatheads. So it fits with Dreamweaver, fits with Musclehead, fits with John King heads, fits with all Rise Davies heads.
So no more trimming.
No more trimming is needed. Actually, there is we don't shy away from trimming if it's necessary. So if you think about the variety of spoons that are available, like just the size and like mag spoons, or smaller slinger spoons, stuff like that, smaller profile spoons, and that's to match the hatch, right? So to match the bait fish in that area at the particular time. So you mentioned about no trimming. You don't need to necessarily trim it, but don't be afraid if you're not getting bit to trim, a little bit off the top and just cut it straight, straight across the nose and slide it back into the bait head. You have just
smaller profile.
Profile, a little bit shorter bait, and that's just to match the hatch. That's kind of that's the idea.
Okay, I have a strange question. So when people ask me, you meet somebody for the first time that doesn't know what you do, and I get this question all the time. It makes my wife crazy, but they're like, well, what do you do for a living? And I just have resorted to saying, well, I sell fish hooks, because if I say, well, I sell speed and temperature probes for downriggers, they look at me like, what in the hell are you talking about? So
the fish lure thing we were talking about.
So what do you say?
Yeah, it's I literally say I make fishing lures. So
okay.
I just say it like that.
Simple enough.
Yes.
Okay.
Fishing lures, and then they're like, oh, what type of lures? And then I kind of get into it. It's hard to really describe until you see it. And the glow in the dark is one. That's why I wanted to bring the packs to show you guys the glow in the dark thing. But yeah, I just say fishing lures.
Okay.
Leave it simple like that.
Yeah. Same thing. Yeah.
So it says right at the top of the package here, not for human consumption. Is that a big point of emphasis for you guys? seeing people just frying these up?
So it's funny, and as soon as you said that, I started giggling. But there's this guy. So I got a lot of great supporters and a lot of friends that I've been able to make with this bait, and a lot of people I've been able to meet. And so one of the captains that I've been befriended and known for a few years now, he loves our product. He sent me this video. It's a French captain, and it was where the French port is. So it's in Coburg. One of the guys sent the video, and they all chipped in, and they paid the guy to eat a strip, and they took a video of him eating a strip on camera. And it was hilarious. And I don't know if the guy made it okay, if he made it back to port, but
they put a light on him and he glowed in the dark.
Yeah, exactly. He was definitely drinking that day too, though, so that could have had a part in him like trying it. I don't know what he was thinking, but it was pretty funny when I saw it.
So your home port is Bluffers in
Bluffers.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about fishing there with the big one cut bait.
Yeah, so Bluffs is one of the best spots on the lake in my opinion. It's got a great structure on it. It's got the big reef just outside of the port. Basically goes from where the Bluffs west towards Toronto. There's a huge ledge there. The fish like to congregate there. There's a nice current that seems to always come across that ledge. A lot of nice color in the water. There's some affluent flows that are coming out from the city that seem to always attract fish along that structure. And a lot of big fish are caught along the bluffs. If you look at the leaderboards for the big salmon derbies, especially in the first couple of weeks of the derby through July, Bluffers Park is usually up there with
where they're at.
a handful of fish. Yeah. Yeah. East side is actually starting to pump out some giants. You guys have seen some of those big fish that caught up. That 42 pounder that was caught a couple years ago. That was absolutely massive at a cold loop. So it's it's a pretty cool thing going on in the North Shore. They got a lot of natural reproduction up there with the salmon. I think that's what's really bringing a lot of those really big mature salmon back to those areas, those natural tributaries that are flowing into the lake.
Tell me about fishing there, though. I mean, it's Toronto. I mean, Bluffers is in Toronto, and it can be a pretty busy port. So
Yeah,
what's that like out there fishing in like on a July day?
it can be bumper boats out there for sure. You gotta keep your head up, head on a swivel all the time. You gotta watch out for people's planer boards and people dodging in and out. If you're not following the proper line, you definitely have to be careful. I'm usually fishing with people that aren't really that experienced. I take my friends and family out. They're not as hardcore as us from a fishing perspective. So, I'm kind of responsible for controlling all the rods and for the most part. And I usually try and keep away from the crowds just to avoid any tangles and stuff. But the crowds are there because the fish are there. There's a lot of fish there sometimes too. So yeah, it's really cool to see. Like I've had family come that have been out of town for years. They've come back, and whenever I can reconnect with my family, we usually go out for fish, like out in the water for a day. And it's amazing to see how they look at Toronto from the outside. Like it's not, there's no hustle and bustle besides some days where you get a lot of bumper boats, especially on the weekends. But looking at Toronto, and especially when the sun starts to rise from the east, when the sun is reflecting off the buildings, it's a really cool
place,
experience. Yeah, and you see the big city there, and you're literally out in the lake, and you do not hear any.
Yeah, it's like fishing Chicago. The same kind of vibe where it's like you got this great big cosmopolitan, modern city, and
it's funny because like majority of people have no idea what's in Lake Ontario and the salmon that are there. Like fish are incredible, and it's literally a world-class salmon fishery that majority of people in Toronto have no idea about. And I would put it up against the West Coast for sure with quality of salmon.
Yeah, I think that's without question. I mean, you talk to somebody that fishes on the West Coast, the number of bites that we get here in the Great Lakes. I mean, West Coast, you get your one fish for the day and you put your rod down, you're done. A lot of fisheries where, you can get 30 bites a morning or whatever it is.
Really, we're so lucky to have that. And, a lot of the organizations around the lake, a lot of volunteers that put their time into this fishery. It's really like built from that level. And so many people are, they make a living on a lot of charter captains, a lot of tackle companies.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool thing, and it all started with the Alewife. If you think about it,
that's pretty cool.
It's really neat. Yeah.
Hey, let's we got Corey ready to go here, but a couple questions come in. Let's just do lightning round here. How much is the light from Anthony Ellis?
The light is $20. So it comes with a light. It zooms in and out. I like to put this in my pocket actually when I'm at the back of the boat. It saves having another box. A lot of guys have these UV boxes or UV cups that they plug in. For me, I prefer this because I literally put it in my pocket. I can slide it in and out of my pocket. It's nice and compact. It's got this rechargeable battery. There's a charger that comes with it, a little wrist strap as well. We use this to charge the like flasher
and spoons,
and baits as well. But yeah, it's $20.
Hottest color.
Oh man, so we sell a lot of natural, which is literally like the scales and our UV pigmentation. That's the other thing I didn't mention. So we add UV pigmentation to everything. So whether it's natural or the glows, the UV.
You get that UV reflection.
Yeah, in the natural is not as bright as the glow strips, but there is a green hue that comes off it. So color-wise, best color. I would say the green glow, but 2 years ago we came out with this one. It's called the yellowtail, so you can kind of see just the tip is glow in the dark, and you can kind of see there it's kind of glowing. So
it's one of my favorite sayings, just the tip. All right.
We'll keep going here. But
Yeah.
Shelf life. What's
Wow.
the shelf life?
so in the freezer, it will last a couple years.
Okay.
If it's a sealed pack, it will last a couple years in the freezer. Yeah.
All right. Very good, Anthony. Really appreciate you stopping
Thanks for
by.
having
That was super cool. Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Nice
Yeah.
job, man. I mean, it looks great.
I'll come and see you later. I got to
Okay.
pick up a few things.
Cool.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, gentlemen.